2020 Tarotscope for the sign of Taurus. For those of you that are either a sun, moon, or rising in the sign of Taurus or heavily placed planets in Taurus, you may want to watch this. It is a broad spectrum reading for a multitude of people. Therefore, if some of it makes sense, that's great. If some of it doesn't, that's okay too. Take what you need and leave the rest. You are responsible for, placing what I say into your life wherever it belongs, and making any decisions, from what I say here is, your responsibility, so to speak. Hey Jen, how are you? So this is the first card that I'm doing for the month of September. I decided to use for the earth signs a power animal oracle card because I felt like the earth signs, animals are associated with the earth and close connection to the earth. So I thought that this would be kind of like your guide for the month, something to focus on, or some, an animal that would be significant to my, not my Virgos, my Tauruses in the month of September. Oh, hey Annette. Thank you for tuning in all the way from Australia. Alright, so let's see, what card do my Taurians need for the month of September 2020? What will be their guide? Alright, you guys get Antelope, which is make a decision and take appropriate action. When I think about this, the principle is decisiveness. I don't know if I said that, but make a decision. So that's pretty clear, clear there. To me, when I think about this, my Tauruses, you guys aren't necessarily known for being sprightly in your natures, right? But I like that Antelope here, Antelope to me feels like a very fast moving energy. And when I think about the idea of decisiveness, Taurians can be very decisive. You guys can also be very strong-willed, maybe even sometimes borderline into the realm of stubborn. But what I feel like this says to me is there might be a swiftness with which the decisions you have to make in the month of September, and that might be a little bit challenging for my Taurians. You guys, I feel like, would want to be a little bit more methodical, a little bit more planned out, maybe not making sort of decisions on the fly. But with this antelope energy, to me, it's like a split-second decision can mean whether or not an antelope lives or dies, right? Like if it turns to the left or to the right when it's being pursued by a lion or a tiger, can mean the world, right? So it's that split-second decision-making that I feel like this antelope has the skill at that can keep it alive, and that's what sort of maybe Taurus might need to be thinking about in the month of September. It may be a little bit uncomfortable from the standpoint of it's not maybe the more methodical way of doing it, but what I think that will be beneficial for my Taurians is that what you guys will learn from this energy or from this card here, from this spirit animal, is that it teaches us to trust our instincts that much faster, that much quicker. Right? And so we can make those split-second decisions and take appropriate action and move with the situation, even if we're not 100% sure of what it's going to look like 3 steps down the line. Does that make sense? To me, with all of the earth signs, I kind of get that you guys like to be a little bit more methodical, a little bit more grounded. That's what you're good at, right? You guys are great creators and manifestors in that way. This, to me, feels a little bit more speedier than that. So be mindful, September there might be a little extra energy, a little bit faster, more fast movement, but you guys will have the skill. And also, I feel like there's a, I don't even know if sprightly is a word, but I feel like there's this sprightly kind of energy to Antelope that might inspire you guys. Like there might be a flush of energy in the month of September where you guys are feeling more active, more kind of energized and like wanting to sort of get out there and make change or make decisions so that you can create change in a more faster way. So I'm going to read Antelope to you just because this is a new deck that I just opened today for you guys. So this is decisiveness, make a decision and take appropriate action. If you're going to sit, then sit. If you're going to stand, then stand. If you're going to run, then run. Don't hesitate and don't equivocate. This is not the time for discussion, debate, deliberation, or hesitation. And those things to me are very Taurian traits. So this is going to be a different way of making decisions for you guys, I feel like. Even choosing to be still and do nothing can be a wise decision at times, especially in life-threatening circumstances. But let's face it, how often have you actually found yourself in such a situation? And if you ever have, you made it through, didn't you? You've come to a point in your life where it's imperative that your choices are based on the combined will of spirit and instinct, which we call intuition. The more finely tuned you are to your intuition, the more decisive you'll be. You'll see that there's no other way to live in this situation in particular. That is absolutely the case. So listen, decide, and then act without hesitation or second guessing. Trust that whatever the outcome is, it is ultimately the will of spirit and in the best interests of all concerned. The additional associations are vigilance, action, speed, and sacrifice. I don't necessarily feel sacrifice with this. I feel like this is more about Taurus learning how to trust split-second decision-making. So there might be, my feeling is, without even getting into the cards, I feel like there might be opportunities or new situations that come up where, boom, we have to make like quick decisions, unforeseen things might pop up in the month of September that may, you know, require us to kind of think on the fly, and that's okay. I think that you guys have the ability to do that. You guys are, you know, smart, intelligent, balanced creatures. This might just be moving at a pace that's a little bit quicker than what you like or are used to, but you can trust that. I think that this is, I don't know why, but I feel like it's getting you more, like it's teaching you a skill in some ways, the feeling that I'm getting, like this, maybe a skill of trusting oneself, right? And being able to move things in the moment versus having to think about it and plan for it. Can you guys not come in here and start fighting? The cats have come in here to wrestle on the floor. So I don't know if you guys will get blessed. The Capricorn reading, the dog farted underneath the desk, and that was, I thought about it after the fact, that's definitely a blessing for the Capricorn. So I don't know if Taurians will get that. You guys get the cats wrestling, so that's your guys' blessing this month. Alright, so let's see what's going on for Taurus, Sun, Moon, and Rising in September of 2020. Yeah, it says, Annette just said, always listen to intuition. I think that Taurians can be extremely intuitive. The thing is I think that you guys also, even though you might have intuition, that doesn't necessarily mean that you want to slow down your intuition and make a plan to execute, right? And to me, this antelope energy feels faster than that. It's like making a decision and taking the turn, making a decision and taking the jump, right? It doesn't feel like there maybe is a lot of time to kind of, you know, listen to your intuition and then sort of take, oh, okay, I want to do this, and then I'll do that, and then I'll do that, but I'll do it tomorrow when, you know, it doesn't have that feeling to me. This is going to be more faster, boom, 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 is kind of the feeling that I'm getting from this card. So don't be surprised if if some things come up in September that you're like, oh, I didn't see this one coming, but I feel like it's going to require you to kind of think more on your feet. Alright, so let's look at the center card. This is your center for the month of September. It just sort of gives me insight into where you guys will be centered at in the month of September. It's not necessarily the entirety of September, just kind of going in and out of this energy throughout the month. So this is the Six of Pentacles. This is actually a beautiful card for my Taurians. This is a very Taurus card in the sense that it is Pentacles, which is Earth energy. The Six to me is always kind of about charity in that way, but I feel like when I'm looking at this is about like just looking at this woman in this dress. To me, it feels like we're appreciating ourselves, where we feel like we have enough. It's not overly abundant, it's not overwhelming. To me, it feels very steady, it feels very nice. This card feels like we're appreciating ourselves. To me, it feels like my Tauruses are going to feel pretty good in the month of September, throughout the month of September, or at least you're returning to this point of the Six of Pentacles throughout the month of September, and that is a good place for you guys to be. It feels like home to me. Of the the 3 earth signs, you're the only one that led with a earth card. There actually was not a lot of earth energy in the other 2 signs, in Capricorn and Virgo, so I like that you guys are leading in your own home element. What do I want to say about this? I also appreciate, like, I like that she's in this beautiful dress, right? She's kind of like appreciating herself, admiring herself. My Taurians might feel a little bit sexy. You might feel a little bit like sort of opulent, indulgent, in good ways that make sense to you. So to me, it feels like September is a month to focus on maybe being kind to yourself, indulging yourself, being good to others, sharing what you have, even if it may not be a ton, right? But like, you guys, to me, there's a generosity in the Six of Pentacles that I feel like you might explore or be able to kind of tap into throughout the month, and that will also make you feel kind of rich and abundant, even if it's not, you know, even if things aren't great right now. Does that make sense? So let's look at the foundation card. This card is sort of why everything is the way that it is. It's from the past, and it sort of tells me a bit about sort of what brought us to this point. It also can be kind of what is oh my god, I'm totally brain farting, sorry. What is the determining factor, or what's sort of pushing us on through the month of September? Sorry about that, I couldn't even think of the word. So let me see, this is the 8 of Wands. So this is always like a fast moving energy. Let me put it down here. To me, sometimes the 8 of Wands can signify travel too. There's always those 8 Wands kind of moving quickly. Let me see here. I don't know why I want to say this, but I feel like some of my Taurians have left a relationship. And the reason why I say this is okay, so let me just show you. Is this like an angel? Do you see this angel kind of whispering in this woman's ear? I feel like this 8 of Wands, and sometimes the 8 of Wands can be a romance card too. It also is like fast-moving energy moving towards a loved one, that kind of communication, that sort of back and forth desire thing. But to me, this feels like, this being in the past position, it feels like my Taurians might have left a situation or moved themselves away from a situation that might have been love-oriented, or maybe it was like, let's say, I don't know, it could have been a romantic situation, it could have been like a work situation, or some sort of relationship where we might have felt smothered, overburdened, that sort of a thing, and we've separated ourselves from it, is kind of the feeling I get. And the reason why I say that is now we have this woman that is sort of being harassed by this guy down here. I feel like this is her kind of standing on her own. We've maybe had some time on our own to think about things. We feel good. We feel in control again. We feel happy again. We feel steady again. We feel more in our own power, in our own sense of self, where maybe in the past things have been outside of our control. The interesting thing is that this Ace of Wands, or this 8 of Wands, I'm sorry, this 8 of Wands feels like that antelope energy. Right? And the interesting thing to me is it feels like whatever we tried to avoid in the past, or we moved ourselves away from in the past, might be recurring. And I don't know what, like, this is how I feel like I need to say it as I'm looking at these cards. Antelope has a very similar vibration to that 8 of Wands. Okay, so if there have been situations where we felt out of control, or that we weren't able to control the movement, to feel secure, to feel safe in the past, and we removed ourselves from those situations, I feel like this antelope decisiveness could be coming in. Now, this could be coming in around other situations, right? Different, how do I want to describe this? Okay, how am I saying this? Come on. All right. In the past, we have felt that we weren't necessarily in control with something that we needed to move away from, right? That's the feeling that I'm getting from that 8 of Wands. We've been away from it maybe for a little period of time. That's the 6 of Pentacles in the month of September. We feel sort of self-assured. We feel okay. We feel you know, we have enough, we can share that, we can appreciate ourselves. We sort of, I feel like I can breathe again, is sort of the vibe that I get from that Six of Pentacles, right? We feel sort of self-contained because we're in charge. We don't have to answer to anybody. We don't have to be challenged by anybody like maybe we were in the past. Antelope speaks to this idea that no, indeed, there's going to be stuff that's going to come up that's going to challenge us. We're not going to be able to sit in the Six of Pentacles energy. We might be able to make those decisions and then return back to it throughout the month. But this is sort of coming back up because I feel like some of my Taurians avoided this energy in the past. That's this Eight of Wands. Does that make sense? For some of you, this situation could be coming back to us. It could be the exact same situation if it is a love situation, right? Or say maybe a job. We find ourselves in a job that's similar to something that we left a while back. That felt like, even though it was manageable, it wasn't what we wanted, kind of thing. Does that make sense? So we may find ourselves dealing with something that feels faster than we normally like, or outside of our control, and we really want to keep that control. Like that's sort of our focus this month. So let's look at the Spirit or Soul card. This is above you. This kind of tells me a bit about sort of what your Spirit or Soul wants you to work on during this month. Now this is the Strength card. This is associated with the sign of Leo. This is Major Arcana, so this is a beautiful card. It's a very powerful card to have up in the spirit space. To me, this speaks to the idea of believing in oneself, knowing one's own strength, knowing one's own ability, being able to kind of stand true in who you are and what you know to be true. I do feel like this Strength card, though, makes us, like, I want to say that it feels like Spirit is asking us to kind of step forward and own. How do I want to say this? Like we want to own who we are. Hold on one second. I feel like there's a challenge here. Like I almost feel like, okay, hold on. There's some sort of self-doubt, or there's some sort of, the Strength card in the Spirit space speaks to this idea that Spirit wants you to remember how strong you actually are. Spirit wants you to remember how capable you actually are. Spirit wants you to sort of like almost turn into yourself and realize and bring the power of this Strength card forward, right? This sort of ability to kind of withstand all kinds of, you know, trials and tribulations and that sort of thing. And I think that on some level, my Taurians know that you have this strength, and you might think that yourself strong. That's the Six of Pentacles also, right? There's a stability and a strength there. But there's something about the avoidance that I feel in this Eight of Wands from the past where you guys ran away, or you moved yourself out of a situation because it was moving too quickly for you, or it felt too out of control. It felt like it was overwhelming you, so you backed up out of it. You said, no, this isn't for me. And it's like, I feel like Spirit is saying, no, you're strong enough. No, you need to step forward. No, you need to kind of almost like present yourself, right? And that's this decisiveness with Antelope. I know this sounds kooky. I'm not even sure if I'm making a lot of sense, but to me it feels like something is coming back around. It may not, for some of you, it may not be the exact same thing, right? For some of you, it might be, though. That's the crazy thing. I feel like Antelope and the Eight of Wands feel like very similar cards. Like the energy off of them feels like it's too fast for what you are used to, or what you like, how you prefer it. And Spirit wants you to remember that that strength that you have up in the spirit space, it wants you to tap into that and accept kind of the challenges. And I kind of feel like with the Six of Pentacles, it feels like to me, but Taurus is like, why? I'm good here. Like, I feel fine here. And I feel like, if I'm being 100% honest, I feel like I feel like you guys are going to get challenged this month. Like if Taurus doesn't decide to move, like if Taurus doesn't jump back into the fray or make those sort of decisions on the fly, they're going to just keep coming at them. Does that make sense? I think that the Six of Pentacles is a good energy to want to reside in and hang out in throughout the month of September, but I feel like the month of September is not necessarily going to offer you the opportunity to always do that. Part of that is that Eight of Wands represents as the past, but it's also the driving factor behind what we're experiencing in the month of September too. So there could be situations where you have things don't feel like they're within your control. And that's the part where this Strength card comes in from the Spirit space. Sorry, my cat's crying out in the living room. That's where this Strength card comes in the Spirit space, where it's like Spirit is trying to remind you how strong and capable you are. And that strength isn't necessarily found in sort of sitting still or keeping things even keel always. Sometimes strength can be found in letting things come at us from left field and making that decision in the moment and challenging ourselves to live with the decisions that we make, right? And taking that appropriate action that we see in that antelope card. Allowing that intuition to guide us versus, say, logic or intelligence, right? Which is, those are great things too to have, but we have that in spades. This is about trusting a little bit more, because Wands is also fire energy, so is Strength with the sign of Leo, right? So fire is the element of spirit, and fire is all around us, above us and below us. So we've got this earth energy that we want to hold tight to because it's familiar and easy, but it's not necessarily what's going to always serve us. There feels like there's this challenge happening with this fire energy above and below us in the month of September. Not bad per se, it's to teach us how strong we are, how capable we are. All right, so the next two cards are the outside influences. These can be people, events, sometimes things more vague like belief systems or energies that are having an effect on us during the month of September. So let's see what we've got here. We've got the Knave of Swords. So this is like the Page of Swords. Pages usually bring messages with them. Swords being the element of air or the intellect. This can be a Libra, Aquarius, or a Gemini, or the energy of that. Sometimes knaves represent usually younger men. I don't know if that's important to any of you. There could be a younger air sign around you guys that might need some sort of assistance, education, help. There's usually an exuberance with that. When I think about this knave energy, though, there's also a youthfulness, which also adds to this idea of speed, right? And I don't know why I'm stuck on this, but with that Eight of Wands, the Antelope card, even the Strength card to me, and the Knave of Wands, it feels like the energy is picking up in September for you guys. The movement is quicker. And I don't feel like that's what Taurus wants. With that Six of Pentacles in the center, I feel like you guys want it to be even keel and move smoothly, and you're going to try and hold on to that because it's familiar and easy. And I feel like the Knave brings in this opportunity to educate, to learn, through, again, we've got the element of air, which is the mind, right? Which is, again, sort of that idea of quick thinking and that sort of a thing. So he could represent sort of these situations where we have to make split-second decisions. And knaves, being youthful, could mean that these situations could come out of nowhere, right? Or surprise us in some way. They will teach us, though. Knaves bring messages. They bring sort of, there's an unexpected energy to it. So to me, we could find ourselves dealing with situations where mentally we have to make split-second sort of decisions and learn from those decisions, sort of committing to them in the moment. Does that make sense? So, and then the next card is the Queen of Cups. So she is cups on cups. This is all about emotion. Sorry, my dog is snoring underneath the table. Let me look at this for one moment. So Cups represents all the water signs, right? We're talking about Cancer, Pisces, and Scorpio, and she's Cups upon Cups. Queens represent the element of Cups. So let me just look at this. Oh wow, that's good. Gotta snore away, bud. I kind of feel like when I'm looking at this, September could be a bit of a month where we fluctuate between doing what's logical and doing sort of. Let me look at this. Hold on, I don't want to say the wrong thing. I get this feeling that there could be some stuff coming for my Tauruses. The reason why I say that is the Queen of Cups is emotions on emotions, right? And she has her back turned to us, which means, which I'm interpreting, or what I'm hearing as I'm looking at the card, is I see this idea that we almost have to emotionally not look at things through our emotions this month. We almost have to turn our backs upon the emotionality of whatever transpires this month. That makes me think that some of these things that come up for Taurus could be a little bit sort of unexpected, could trigger some emotions for us, could freak us out a little bit. I also think that the knaves can be a little bit childlike, exuberant, messy in that regard. And when I look at him leading with that sword and he's heading in to the Six of Pentacles, to me it feels like Taurus might be trying to keep even keel and keep everything familiar and calm, but you guys aren't going to necessarily be able to. And that's where this strength comes in from the spirit space, right? We may not be able to get emotionally caught up. That's kind of what I feel like. Or we might get emotionally charged and we might have to learn how to make a quicker decision on the fly that is maybe not as logically well thought out, or how we normally make our decisions. We may not find that we have a lot of time to make the decision. It might be something that's so impactful that it has to be made quickly. I mean, and like the thing that popped up into my mind is like, just as an example, is like maybe we find out we have to move like immediately, like we have 2 weeks to move, or we're losing a roommate, or I don't know. It's got kind of that sort of a feel to it where, although it's upsetting, right, all of these emotions may come up around it, we are going to have to make a decision where we feel uninformed, or we don't have all of the facts, or we don't necessarily have the time that we would like to have to be able to sit with it and really think it out. And that's the sort of, this is something that we've dealt with in the past. It's that sort of split second, oh shit, I've got to make a move feeling, and it's going to make us feel maybe a little bit insecure or unsure. That's also the knave aspect of this, but what we need to remember is we have the strength and the ability to kind of get ourselves through this situation, even if it feels challenging emotionally. I'm not saying that we shouldn't feel the emotions. I feel like the Queen is there. We're going to have to, situations might come up that get under our skin or make us feel things emotionally, but we're going to have to maybe set her aside. That's her turning her back on us, like set her aside or set our emotions aside and kind of make these decisions on the fly, not necessarily knowing how the outcome is going to play out. But I think that ultimately in the end, although September might be a little bit of a month where some of you feel uprooted or challenged in some way, you're going to learn from not only the decisiveness that we see in Antelope, but also the strength that is in the higher self card that's going to bring you guys to the next month, right? To the, as these decisions that we make now start to play out in our lives, that's going to show us something. It's going to teach us something about our own strength within, our own ability to pivot, to adapt. Adaptability is also really good with that Antelope. All right, so this next card is the potential outcomes for this for the month of September for my Taurians. This is not necessarily set in stone. It is sort of a broad outcome. It gives us an idea of sort of where things are headed naturally, barring that nothing major changes. If this is a negative card, we can use this card as a warning right now to think about things and make decisions to affect the outcome so this card does not come to pass. If this card is positive, we can take heart in the fact that this card is naturally going to, we're naturally heading towards it, and we don't have to do much to, affect that outcome. We can just allow it to happen. Okay, not the best card. So this is the Six of Swords. So to me, this is about sort of, I feel like with all of these swords running in different directions, to me this feels a bit like indecision. It feels like we're kind of trying to figure stuff out, stay in control, and I don't think this month is about control for my Tauruses. That's the thing. I think that you guys are going to try and hold on to that control with that Six of Pentacles in the center, but that's not going to work for you. And it's funny, we have the 6 energy in the center, and it leads us to the 6 energy in the swords, right? Where it's almost like if we sit too long or stick our feet in the mud kind of thing and don't make a decision, we end up at the month's end still indecisive with like more of a mess on our hands, right? I feel like this Knave of Swords, he challenges us to learn through making a decision. Like he's going to drop that knife down. We have to kind of make that decision, even if it's sort of like an emotional one, right? We may have to clear out our emotions and sort of live with our actions. But if we don't, then you could be setting yourself up for like even further uncertainty or discomfort going into the month of October. That's kind of the feeling that I get from that Six of Swords. I don't think that this is like earth-shattering though. That's the feeling. I think that the truth is that strength card in the spirit space says that like your spirit wants you to understand your true strength and your true ability to adapt. And you guys maybe don't necessarily like operating on the fly, but this is going to be a month where you're going to have to do that, is the feeling that I get. And if you refuse to do that, or you stay sort of trying to slow everything down and control everything and fight it along the way, you're going to end up at that Six of Swords where it is this kind of like back and forth indecision. Oh my God, do I do this? Do I do that? I don't know. And we get kind of confused by it all, when if you sort of just flow with it and jump in and allow spirit to guide you, you're going to get moved where you need to be. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense, you guys. And don't be surprised if some of the scenarios around you seem perplexing. Like that Knave of Swords and then that Queen of Cups feels like emotionally and mentally they're going to be sort of emotionally certainly maybe a little bit hard to deny or not overwhelming, but like they're definitely going to be some things that could arise emotionally for you guys in the month of September. But also with that Knave of Swords, there's going to be stuff that you may not necessarily feel like you are having all of the facts or the ability to navigate it all mentally, but you're going to have to just jump in. If you don't, then by month's end, you could end up in that Six of Swords energy, which is that kind of back and forth indecisiveness, which isn't going to serve anybody, and it's probably going to add to any discomfort that you already are feeling throughout the month. That's my feeling with these cards. And I feel like Antelope is the very solution to all of this. So like it wants to guide you through this month saying, okay, let's just make these decisions. Let's fly through this. We'll get through this. We need to trust ourselves and know that we're strong enough to carry ourselves through no matter what the outcome. I'll be interested to hear from you guys as your month progresses. Let me know how this plays out. I do like that the center card is the Six of Pentacles in the sense that you guys do have the strength and the ability to kind of hold your own against all of the stuff that might be going on around you. But I feel like if you put up too much resistance to it, then it goes into that realm of stubbornness, and then you're just avoiding it altogether, and that's what leads us to that Six of Swords, is that fight. Yeah, my dog is snoring underneath the desk, April. Sorry, he's asleep at my feet underneath the desk, and he starts snoring. So that's what you're hearing. He snores and farts under there. All right, you guys, that is your Taurian reading for the month of for September of 2020. I hope that makes sense, you guys. Utilize it as best you can, and just kind of trust yourself as much as you can and move with it. And know that I kind of feel like this Queen of Cups and this Knave of Swords are coming in to make changes, although that you may not necessarily think that you need, but you do need them. They're leading you to something better. That is that Strength card. You have to trust that. And if you don't trust that, that's when we get into that sticky Six of Swords energy at the month's end. All right, you guys, I'm going to go. Thank you for tuning in. Tomorrow I will do air signs. That will be Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. And I will see you then. Thank you for tuning in. Please give this video a like if you enjoyed it. Go over to my YouTube channel and subscribe there if you're not already subscribed and you're watching from Facebook. And there's a daily forecast every morning over on the YouTube channel that you guys can tune in to every day. And I look forward to seeing you guys later. All right, thank you and have a great month. Bye-bye.